Anasesava Bhaktiya Travarchana Vaishnaver Padaduka Samana He Savai Padaduka Samana He Savai Yate Kaya Vanchita Purana Yate Kaya Vanchita Purana Yate Kaya Vanchita Purana Yate Kaya Vanchita Purana Vaishnava Sangate Mana Anandita Anukshana Vaishnava Sangate Mana Anandita Anukshana Sadahaya Krishna Parasa Anga Sadahaya Krishna Parasa Anga Dinanarottama Kande Hayaditya Nahi Vande Dinanarottama Moradasa Keno Hoiroba Moradasa Keno Hoiroba Narottandas Thakur Narottandas Jai
Faire le thunderstruck ou le Questa io sai di zebra, insomma. Super sign. Yeah? Yeah. Vedi se devi suonare. Oh, this chocolate is good.
Ave Manadumati Samsara Vitare Pariyashino Ami Tavanija Jana Pranamajane Patayade Tumi Tavanija Jana Pranamajane Patayade Tumi Emanadumati Samsara Bhutare Pariyashino
Basso mere nayananame. Basso mere nayananame nandula. Nandula. Nandana. Basso mere nayananame nandala. Basso mere nayananame nandala. Basso mere nayananame. Basso mere nayananame nandala. Basso mere nayananame. Basso mere nayananame nandala. Mohani moranti, shamari soranti. Mohani moranti, shamari soranti. Mohani moranti, shamari soranti. Nayana bani disha, Nayana bani disha. Basso mere nayananame nandala. Basso mere nayananame nandala. Atara Sudharasha Murali Bhajata. Atara Sudharasha Murali Bhajata. Vachayanti ma, Vachayanti ma. Nayan basso mere nayananame nandala. Basso mere nayananame. Sutta Gandhika Katitata Sopita. Sutta Gandhika Katitata Sopita. No pura sapta rasha, no pura sapta rasha. Someraya Naname Nandara Pasomeraya Mira Bravo Santana Songkadai Santana Songkadai Mira Bravo Santana Songkadai Bravo Santana Songkadai Bakatavansa Someraya Naname Nandura Someraya Matsomerenaya Naname Nandura Matsomerenaya
It's 199 in German. German 199. English.
Jayo Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhavadayite Jayo Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhavadayite Shashileke Lalita Sakinguna Ramita Vishake
Many songs, but in Gujarati. Sorry? You can sing many songs, but you cannot follow Gujarati.
Not Gujarati, but mostly are in Braj language. We have Kirtan mostly in Braj language.
Tell me which one you know from this book.
Ratanama Parama Sukhada Ratanama Parama Sukadai Ratanam Shamanam Parama Sukadai Ratanam Parama Sukadai Lahara Lahara Sri Shama Juki Mana mein mere samay Radhanama Parama Sukadai Radhanama Parama Sukadai Radha 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 Janama Vitao Raja Gopina Radha 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 Janama Vitao Raja Gopina Kushishanava Braja Gopina Kushishanava Mahima Kari Nahi Prajatya Chake Kahi nahi jao Prajatya Chake Kahi nahi jao Rasika Santana Ke Darshana Pao Rasika Santana Ke Darshana Pao Jaga Se Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe.
Vielleicht so müde oder vielleicht stehen.
Ja, die sind alle ziemlich müde.
Das hat mir gesagt, dass er müde ist.
Also nicht gut. Dann geht er schlafen und so macht er
Hier steht der Kran legt sich auch schon schlafen. Die sind alle ziemlich müde.
Kommen wir mal zu einer vielleicht. Und so schlafen.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bol Hari Bol.
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री नवद्वीप मायापुरम की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौरी गोवर्धन राजस्वनात्मक श्रीपद समंदर की जय श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड मन तुलसी भक्ति देव की जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय अंतरात श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय प्रियत मृदंग की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय श्री गौर प्रेमानंदे
Agyanitimirandasya Kananjanashlakaya Chakshu Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Vandeham Shri Guru Varam Shri Rupanuka Pravaram Raja Rasarasikam Cha Narayanam Tam Prapanam Shri Guru Charanam Vande Ramana Prishtaya Bhutale Rupanuka Bhakti Tamcha Kripamuti Narayanam Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chava Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamutirayid Ajánulambita Bhujo Kanakavatato Sankirtanaikapitaro Kamala Yataksho Vishvambaro Dvijavaro Yugadama Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karuna Avataro Bhaktyavina Aparadalakshay Kshiptascha Kamadi Tarangamadi Kripa Mahitam Sharanam Prapanam Brinde Namaste Charanaravindam Shama Sundar Shikanda Shekha Smiraha Samurali Manohara Radhika Rasika Mam Kripanide Sapriya Charana Kim Karim Kuru Vanchakalpa Tarupascha Kripa Sindhu Vaivacham Patitanam Pavanibo Vaishnavevo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So before reading, I offer my most humble obeisances and lotus feet of my worshipful divine master Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Vrajagacharya Ashtodhar Satayugacharya Bhaktabandha Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and the lotus feet of his dear God brothers and friends Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhaktivedanta Tirukam Goswami Maharaj. I offer my most humble obeisances and lotus feet of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and my spiritual grandfather, the lion-like Acharya Srila Bhakti Pragan Keshava Goswami Maharaj, as well as all Rupanuka Vaishnavas and devotees of the Lord. So, we've been reading from the just surprised to see everybody here. Reading from the Madhurya Kadambini, shower of nectar, and where it has been established that bhakti is independent, self-manifest, just like Bhagavan, that it is independent of pious or impious activities. Nothing, no material activity can produce bhakti. It is impartial and given by the Madhyama Bhaktas according to Bhakti's inspiration. Then Bhakti is, they're the vessel. Their vessel has a certain form, a certain nature, just like so the nature of that Madhyama Bhakta is that he is directed towards God. Just like on the old, in the city halls and sometimes on the farms, you have this, here in Europe you have this peacock. Not peacock, rooster. It turns with the wind. Peacock, rooster. So this Madhyam Vaishnava, he's a certain vessel, like a pot. He has a certain form. So that, and his glance, his gaze is towards Bhagavan. So his love goes there towards Bhagavan, his priti, and his affection goes towards his equals, and his mercy goes towards his towards the ignorant, and those those who are against, they're not within his field of vision, so to speak, field of his attention. So that is the instrument Bhakti Devi is using to give her mercy. So it can be only, it is distributed according to that nature, impartially though. So that's what I've understood. And now, what I meant, why I meant this rooster is like the wind of prema. It flows in a certain way. Prema vatase, sabajiva hailupa, prema ravatase. The boat that sets over the ocean of the material existence. There's a wind, so that blows in a certain direction. And the Madhyam, he is directed in that way. There's those who go on the boat, and there's those who stay on the shore. But whoever goes on the boat will receive the mercy. So we read this text now, text 4, Bhagavan's mercy is entrusted to the devotee. How is it possible? Because Bhagavan voluntarily submits to his devotees, to their will. And their devotees obviously they try to fulfill the will of their Lord. They try to act in a way that will please their Lord. Means they will act in what he desires. Like the servant, he understands the taste of his master. So he will, like Pujapa Madhava Maharaj was expert cook for Srila Gurudev. So he will know exactly what Gurudev likes, what to cook, how to cook it, how to prepare, and or any like somebody who is close to Krishna, he will know what is Krishna's likes and dislikes. Radharani, she knows exactly what Krishna likes, what he dislikes. So she will try to act according to his will, to his desire, but still they're not dependent. They're not dependent on his desire. They're not dependent on his will to act. They're not dependent on his will to bestow mercy. And they will act in the interest of their deity, but they're not dependent on his order. So that's, we discussed a little bit, and there's more depth to it, but I hope now during this commentary it will become more and more clear, their relationship between Bhakta and Bhagavan. In the Bhakti Sandarbha, Anucheta 180, it states, the particular significance of Mahat Kripa, the mercy of his devotees, is that if it were not independent, it would have been impossible for anyone in this world to have obtained the mercy of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is exclusively and in the most complete way condensed spiritual bliss. He is impenetrable by corruption, and he is untouched by the material energy. Herein lies the distinction between Bhagavan and the living entities. Just as there is no possibility of the slightest darkness remaining within the sun, which is the reservoir of profuse light, so it is impossible for unhappiness to touch Bhagavan, who is by nature absolutely blissful. Shruti also states, Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastats. Like the supremely luminous sun, he is far above darkness. That is why Bhagavan cannot be touched by any of the unhappiness felt by the jivas. Being the inherent form of Ananda, he remains continuously overwhelmed by Ananda. People in general, however, are touched by the misery of others, and mercy awakens within their hearts. Shri Bhagavan is the condensed form of supreme bliss. Although all potency to make the impossible possible, along with all other potencies, always resides within him, still it is not possible for him to express compassion directly for the wayward jivas. That is why the mercy bestowed autonomously by great souls is in fact the sole means to effect the deliverance of the abject and unhappy jivas. Like Bhagavan, sadhus also wander in the realm of Ananda, which is made up of Shuddha Sattva, and therefore they cannot be touched by any of the unhappiness of the material world, which innately consists of the modes of passion and ignorance. Still, as a man waking from sleep can remember the miseries he felt in his dreaming state, the Mahapurusha sometimes remember the miseries of this world. When their hearts are thus melted with compassion, they show mercy to the wayward souls. Because of this, Sri Bhagavan, who is all compassionate, places his own mercy in the heart of these great souls and keeps their mercy completely independent, so that the common people can become inclined to him. Therefore, Bhagavan's mercy is transmitted into the heart of the jivas in the wake of Mahat Kripa, the mercy of great souls, and not through his own personal will. This is very beautiful. I think everybody understood, and I'm still gonna say it again, just to relish a little bit more. What it says here is Jiva Goswami. He writes, what a great devotee. He explains so beautifully that he explains why this mercy potency is invested within the devotee, and why it has to be independent of Bhagavan. Why it cannot depend on Bhagavan. Why? Because Bhagavan is never touched by unhappiness. He's always in bliss. He's always absorbed in the love and affection given to him by his pure devotees. He's always engaged with them, completely intoxicated by their love, by their devotion. And as Bhagavan, Maya exists not for his sake, actually exists for our sake. This creation is separate from him. It is just like Srila Jiva Goswami, he describes the four, let's say, realms of existence. He compares them with the sun, the glow of the sun, the sun globe itself, the sun itself, the glow of the sun, then the rays, like the penumbra, like glow of the sun, like the direct atmosphere or the surface of the sun. Then the rays of the sun, and then the shadow. So the reflection. So the sun itself, Surya, that is like Bhagavan, and Krishna himself, and then the penumbra, the glow, the aura of the sun, that is like the spiritual realm, the spiritual world with all its variety and associates. Huh?
He likens it to the sun planet. The glow of the sun, the fire of the sun, he likens to Bhagavan. Sun planet to the oculus, to the reading of the other.
Okay. So and then the rays of the sun, that is the jivas, and then the reflection is this material world. So the reflection is not connected to the original source.
He's saying that the reflection is the pradhan, the unmanifest, the aggregate of the unmanifested material nature. So he's saying this is what Prabhupada he was describing in his talk about 6 amadhas. So he's saying Jiva Goswami is like an aggregate. The sun, the glow of the sun planet, the reflection of the sun, and then the sun rays. And he said that the reflection is he's probably saying that it is the pradhan, unmanifest aggregate of material. And the sun planet as the opulence, the spiritual planet he likens the planets and the associates. Sorry to disturb.
No, it's not disturbing. Thank you.
Sharing.
So Bhagavan, he is Krishna. He is absorbed in his own realm, and this work of the material energy is performed by his servant Maya, actually. And he takes another form, the form of Mahadev, Shiva, to direct this Maya. But Krishna himself, he's never touched by this world. He's never touched by unhappiness. He's always in bliss. So therefore, he cannot feel compassion. Because how Jiva Goswami is saying here, how is compassion awakened? By seeing the sufferings of others. So there has to be some awareness of that there is unhappiness, that there is suffering. But Bhagavan, he is not even aware that there is suffering. Actually, there's a nice analogy given in this regard, like how Krishna, he is absorbed in the beautiful moon-like face of Srimati Radhika. Completely absorbed like Manasa Chandra Chakora. He is, his mind is like the Chakora birds who only drinks the moonlight face of Srimati Radhika. So he is completely absorbed in her beauty, in her devotion, her love. What is her beauty? Her beauty is her love, her prem. So by that he wanders through Vrindavan unaware of the suffering of the living entities. But Srimati Radhika, she sees. She sees one big elephant who's drowning in the ocean, or in the Yamuna. He's drowning in the Yamuna, and she throws one lotus, just casually flicking one lotus, which flies towards the trunk of that elephant. There's nothing to be seen of the elephant, only the trunk is still looking out of the water. Somehow the elephant, he grabs hold of that lotus, and that lotus pulls out that big elephant from the water into Vrindavan. So that lotus is, in that analogy, is Shri Guru, the pure Vaishnavas sent directly by Srimati Radhika herself to deliver the living entities. Well, she's Kripamoy, right? Karunamai, Radhe Radhe. Why? How she is, I don't know. Can you explain? Well, I understand that's her nature. Why she is like that, I don't know. Srimati Radhika, that is true. So then it may be also once again the bhakta, because it is said ultimately the mercy is not it's said here the Mahat Kripa it's not said, it's not Radha Kripa, it's Mahat Kripa, it's the Kripa of the devotees. So maybe in that sense that analogy is, well, they're acting under the guidance of Srimati Radhika, under her direction.
Maybe because she thinks herself like always unqualified, even though she's qualified to do world service, but she always looks like for new opportunities to serve Krishna.
Therefore she's looking for new flowers to offer.
For example.
Might be one possibility. Might also because she's like these are like the living entities, ultimately they're Shakti, they're coming from her, so she's like like mother somewhat. Anyhow, what is said here is that the mercy has to be independent, because Bhagavan does not he cannot directly feel compassion, because he does not actually he comes into this world to experience this, how to be compassionate, especially in his form as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He comes specifically for that purpose, to to feel, to have this experience of feeling compassion and giving mercy. Actually, in Jaiva Dharma, this word is described as Shrishti Lila, the pastime of creation. This can be understood in two ways. Like we see, Bhagavan creates this world from the seed. All these elements are created, but that is actually not the true deep meaning. What is meant here is Shrishti Lila is the creation of devotion in the hearts of the living entities, because the main difference between the living entities that come from Mahavishnu and the living entities that are manifested by Sankarshan or Baladev, that the entities that come from Mahavishnu, they are in seed form. All these other living entities that manifested directly in the spiritual realm, they are perfect. They are like the full-grown tree. But the Tatastha Jivas, they are in seed form. So they have to, their bhakti lata, their devotion has to grow. Their potential has to manifest. Even those who decide, those Tatastha Jivas that become attracted towards the service of Bhagavan, even there, because we recently discussed how do the living entities, the Bada Jivas, how do they come into this world? And Kanai Prabhu, he showed me one nice excerpt from Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's thesis about Brahmins and Vaishnavas. And there he writes that what happens at that time is that the Tatastha Shiva, we apply our conception of time naturally when we speak. But when the Tatastha Jiva, when it comes into being, which is, it has always been, but if the Tatastha Jiva, if it is not attracted towards the service of Bhagavan, but stays, neutral, not neutral, or like, not neutral, not interested in the service of Bhagavan, like apathic, then it will be, since the living entity cannot stay in a state of neutrality forever, since it is infinitely small, it's described because it's very tiny, it always has to attach to something larger. So therefore, if it does not attach towards the lotus feet of Bhagavan through service, then the force of destiny, force of Bhagavan's will nudge it towards material energy. And they will become averted to Bhagavan's service. So, what was the point? Why are we talking about the jivas? Shrishti Lila. So even those souls who are not averse, who become attracted towards the service of Bhagavan, and they do not come, they are not being covered by Mahamaya, even they have to practice, even they will have to practice devotional service. They have to take shelter of Mahat Sangha, of pure devotees, pure Nitya Parikas of the Lord, and under their guidance learn how to serve Krishna. So this is Shrishti Lila, is that the creation of devotion within the hearts of the living entities. So Bhagavan himself, he comes into this world to have this experience also to give compassion, especially in his form as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But there also it is only possible how? Because he is being covered or because he takes shelter of Srimati Radhika. And he takes shelter of her mood. And then by dint of her mood, means by the power of her mood, of her compassion, then he can also give compassion. So Srila Jiva Goswami, he describes it very beautiful that the Mahabhagavat, he will just, it is not that he actually felt miseries. We see like the Vaishnavas, they perform pastimes, they're being born in this world, and they face so many difficulties, and they also go through old age and disease, and they pass from this world seemingly externally. But according to Srila Jiva Goswami, they actually never feel misery. They're always absorbed in their relationship with Bhagavan. Still, just like a man waking from a dreaming state, the Mahapurusha sometimes remembers the miseries of this world. Because somehow they're here and they see the living entities, and somehow they get an idea, understanding, how I cannot comprehend, because I'm a conditioned soul. I don't know how Mahabhagavat will feel or think. Maybe Srila Gurudev will describe here somewhere.
But it only could refer basically to this sadhana-siddhas, basically, because many times we hear that someone like Guru Bhaga, they were never conditioned. But then the question would be there, like you said, how can they understand the compassion?
Sadhan siddhas may understand.
Yeah.
But there's like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is a Mahapurusha, Nitya Siddha Vaishnava, and he gave so much compassion. He dedicated his whole life, to being compassionate. From the moment he could walk and talk, he did nothing else but endeavor with all his energy in giving compassion, studying Gita, giving Gita discourses, becoming brahmachari, becoming inspiration for all his associates. So it cannot be that it's just the sadhan siddhas. Like Jai and Vijay. Not like Jai, but they're also becoming covered. They're forgetting their identity and they're completely identifying. Or like Arjuna.
Probably also says something like there must be also some sadhana-siddhas who experience that who come now in this world. Because for example, if I suffered myself, then who will be like a better like preacher than someone who like
Well, translating this into my experience, my realm of experience, I would think it's like, the difference between the person who is watching the movie, who goes into the movie theater and watches, and goes into the virtual reality, but he still understands he's in the virtual reality, and the person who is so like us, who is so deeply absorbed into this virtual reality that we have forgotten who we really are. But like when I watch a movie, I might also have some feeling. I may also feel some pain, or anxiety, or fear, or excitement. But I'm always aware, I might become absorbed, but ultimately I always know it's just a movie, maybe like that. I don't know. Like a horror movie, yeah. Like when I watch a horror movie, I never liked watching horror movie because I got so scared. As a child, I remember the Ghostbusters. I was small. I was hiding behind the couch because it's not a horror movie. When I was young, I was haunted so much by ghosts all the time. I had nightmares so much, so I was very, very afraid. The Marshmallow Man. So, anyhow, Srila Jiva Goswami, it's so beautiful how it describes that Bhagavan, because somehow he understood, that is also compassion actually, he understood that he cannot take care of those conditioned living entities. He empowers his devotees, gives that duty to his devotees. Now one may counter this notion by saying that Antayami Bhagavan, who governs from within as Supersoul, inspires the hearts of all living entities and grants the power of activity to their internal and external senses. In answer to this, Bhagavan himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddhesher arjun tishtati Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. O Arjuna, the indwelling Supersoul is situated in the heart of all living beings. By his illusory potency, he causes them to wander in the cycle of birth and death, engaging them in various material activities as if they are mounted on a machine. So does the all-powerful, autonomous Supreme Lord have any control over his devotees' activities? In this regard, it is said that the internal and external senses of the devotees, which are a result of their previously unseen destiny, as well as the ability of those senses to receive Bhagavan's mercy potency, are actually under Bhagavan's control. In other words, it is Bhagavan's own potency alone that duly governs the revelation of his mercy potency in the senses of the bhaktas. The devotees are not fully independent in this regard. Still, it is seen that Bhagavan bestows his grace upon his own devotees. In essence, the wayward jivas are subordinate to the accumulated parabdha karma, the manifest result of their previous material activities. In the form of the Supersoul, Bhagavan, by his external energy, inspires these jivas from within and motivates or empowers their internal sense, the mind, and the external senses to undergo the results of their past deeds. Yet he does not control his bhakta senses in the same way. Although the bhaktas may consider their joys and sorrows to be arising from the previous karma, they are not in fact subordinate to their parabdha karma. Their joys, sorrows, and all else are taking place by the will of Bhagavan in a way that is favorable to the nourishment of their bhakti. In regard to the manifestation of Bhagavan's mercy potency in the bhaktas' senses, Bhagavan himself is the sole regulator. The devotees, therefore, do not have any control in regard to the mercy Bhagavan bestows upon them. But in the matter of distributing mercy to other jivas, Bhagavan has personally made his own mercy potency flow through the bhaktas, thus granting them full freedom to do his work. So here Srila Gurudev writes that one may give a counter-argument and quote Bhagavad Gita, in which it is said that this cosmos is like a huge machine on which we are mounted by force, and moved by Bhagavan's will. And Srila Gurudev also, he describes the mechanics of this, gives a little glimpse of how it works, that Bhagavan, he controls the external and internal senses. And then according to our karma, to our past deeds, he inspires our senses and our mind to behave in a certain way. So that we may taste the results of our actions. So that we may taste our karma. So we all have experiences like that, right? That we act in a way that we're surprised. Why did I act like this? Why did I do this? If I would have just, gone, did one thing other, this and this would not have happened to me. But Bhagavan, he forces our senses according to his will, which ultimately he's just distributing the results of our own karma. But for that he has to, control our internal and external senses. But the devotees also, he also controls their senses of the bhaktas, but in a different way. As I understand here from this text, what he, obviously he is the one who gives them senses and a mind in the first place. But what he decides, the devotees cannot decide if they are the vessel of his mercy. But Bhagavan decides if they are the vessel of his mercy. But then if they are, they themselves are independent in distributing that mercy. And also it is said here that Bhagavan, he directs their path also. And he also directs their senses and their minds, but not according to karma, but just in a way that will be helpful to fulfill their mission. So obviously that refers here, Gurudev says here, so what will nourish their bhakti, their devotion. And my interpretation of that is that what is their devotion? Their devotion is expressed when they come here by giving mercy. Their devotion is expressed by collecting many, many souls, many, many jivas, and engaging them in the Lord's service. So therefore, Bhagavan, like Kanaya Prabhu just quoted Srila Gurudev, that Krishna himself, he lets his own devotees get a taste of that, of the workings of this material realm. He covers them somewhat, directs their mind and their senses so they may experience the joys and sorrows of this world, which, because due to their connection with Bhagavan, will nourish their bhakti. If we experience either the sorrows or the joys of this world, the result is that we become more entangled. Either way, if we experience the sorrows, then our mind becomes absorbed with those sorrows, and we become averted from Bhagavan. If we have some joy, then the same thing happens also. But for the bhaktas, because they already have an established relationship with Bhagavan, although they may be temporarily unaware, those experiences will ultimately will nourish that relationship.
So, but then it seems like that they are also basically fully controlled. They don't really have like.
Yes, I mean.
Basically, they have to go through lila in order to nourish that. It's not that they can really choose or decide. It's just they accept, right?
What they can choose, Krishna, he's directing their path, like he's directing the path of all living entities. But he gives them independence on distributing his mercy. He makes them the vessel of his mercy, and he gives them certain experience, and then he lets them act on according to their own desire, which is naturally, since they are fully dedicated servants, within the wake of Krishna's own desire. He, the king, he empowers his representative. In my stead, you go, or a diplomat. Nowadays you have a diplomat. The governor or the president, he sends a diplomat, and the diplomat will act on the behalf of the president. And if the king has or the president has a lot of trust in that diplomat, he will empower him to take decisions. Nowadays you have a phone, you could always call back and ask, oh, should I, this is their suggestions, how should I act? But if Bhagavan has, or that authority has faith in you, he will tell you decide. So Bhagavan, the same way, he gives that. He Sakshat Tarit. He becomes the direct, authorized representative of God. God empowers him with his own powers. Fully trusting, fully trusting his devotee that he will, act in my interest, fulfill my desire. But he can do so without, having to call back, okay, you got this one devotee, should I give him mercy or not? No, he has the authority. He can decide on his own. He doesn't have to double check and ask back. Yeah, the representative, the king tells him, he tells him where to go, right? He doesn't tell him, okay, you're my representative in this regard, and you go in this region, like that, you mean? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for also you, we also have this experience, right? Like Guru, Vaishnavas, they give us an order, and then to some degree, they have taught us how to do certain things, So then we like they taught us how to do Thakurji Seva directly there in Vrindavan. So when we come here, for some when we can apply the same knowledge, but then there's time, place, and circumstances a little bit different. So for some things we can just adjust because we know what is the purport, and then for some things we may have to ask back because we're not exactly sure of Bhagavan's desire or Guru's, Vaishnava's desire. Just to me, it's so beautiful to see, how Srila Gurudev here, he's revealing that relationship that Bhakta and Bhagavan have with each other, which is so personal. You know, like he gives an order, he gives trust. You know, he trusts. There's it's like it's a relationship like between two personalities. Still, it's not like maybe we have. It's not like we relate to each other because God is great and we are small. Still, like a father. Father has trust in his son. Like, you see like families, like also my family, like my great-grandfather, then at some point he gave his business to his son. And then and because he had two sons, he bought another business for the other son. And then he gave them the responsibility for that. He taught them how to do it, and then he trusted it into them, to they themselves manage. I mean, it's not a good example actually, but anyhow, it's not as not even closely as beautiful. But just to understand, like that type of relationship that we now are able to develop with Guru, with Vaishnavas, that similar relationship we will also have in a similar relationship they have, of course, completely developed and perfected with their Guru and with Bhagavan. So in the Gita, Bhagavan personally says, Tat prasadat param stantim stanam prapsasi shashvatam. Sind nur noch ein Absatz, dann ist das Kapitel zu Ende. Surrender completely to Him, that Supreme Controller. By His grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme eternal abode. Here the word prasada should be understood as the favor of Bhagavan in the form of the bestowal of His mercy potency. What is this, 1862? Gurudev only quotes part of the verse. Tat prasadat param shantim stanam prapsyasi shashvatam. Because Bhagavan says, surrender completely unto Him, that Supreme Controller, but He Himself is Bhagavan. Because usually in the Gita He says, surrender unto me. He doesn't say as surrender unto Him. So what is? I don't know. This is Bhagavad Gita 1862. Where the guys with the smartphones? I don't think there's a Gita there. Already got it. I like ink and paper better. Thank you. Oh no, Krishna speaks about himself. He says in the previous verse, Ishvara sarva bhutanam ridesh arjuna tishtati. Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani maya. So the other verse that Gurudev also just quoted here, that the Supreme Lord is in the heart of every living entity and guides their ways. So, and then he advises Arjuna, surrender unto Him without restriction. Through His mercy, you will attain transcendental peace and the highest eternal realm. So, and here this verse it says prasadat, the prasad, the mercy. What is that mercy? The mercy is his that prasada is the favor of Bhagavan as his mercy potency, and his mercy potency is with his devotees. So means surrender completely unto Him, unto that controller, and you will receive the mercy of his devotees. commentaries, purports, wise words, questions.
Can you say that the Bhagavan is aware and unaware at the same time because he's what is it? Satyanagata? And he's compassionate and not compassionate at the time because he desired himself to come into this world also to spread the Sampradaya mission, and that is out of his mercy, which is born of his compassion. And he's also omniscient, so he knows everything, and yet at the same time he's covered by Yoga Maya, so he doesn't know anything about this material. Can you say that? Can you say he is unaware, but he's also aware?
You mean Savagyan Muktata?
Yeah.
Savagyan Muktata, but Savagyan Muktata usually refers to him forgetting his all-powerfulness because he's becoming bound by the love of his devotees, like Mother Yashoda.
So his all-powerfulness, wouldn't he be remembering also his?
I guess it would be true if we reference it to that pastime that Gurudev tells about how he's absorbed in Srimati Radhika, and therefore he does not see the drowning elephant. But I'm unsure if this is the proper context here. Like Srila Jiva Goswami, he says specifically, it is because Bhagavan, he may be aware, but he cannot be touched by unhappiness. That was the main point here. It's not that he is not aware. It's just he cannot feel unhappiness. He does not really have a conception of unhappiness, and only by feeling or knowing unhappiness, compassion is inspired within the heart. And then the other thing, of course, his greatest quality, as has been described in the previous verse, is Bhakta Vatsalyata, is that he is compassionate to his devotees, right? That he's affectionate towards his devotees. But then also, it is true. It is Srimati Radhika is by his Shakti, as I understand that this compassion is manifested. Of course, Shakti and Shaktiman are non-different, but all these good qualities of Krishna, they ultimately are manifested by Srimati Radhika. It is actually very clearly evident in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he is Krishna, but he has to take shelter of Srimati Radhika, and only then the supreme compassion is being manifested to Bhagavan. Asiya Prajanji. Of course, he has also so many names: Dinabandhu, Kripa Sindhu. I guess this is the Achintya, the inconceivable oneness and difference. Still, the practical, what we can learn, though we may not be able to understand this intellectually completely, but what is being clearly, the message that's being clearly given here is that Krishna has chosen to his devotees to be the reservoir, the repository of his mercy. So if we want to have his mercy, we have to approach his devotees. So that is the really the practical application here. And that we have to understand that his mercy is flowing. Why it is not flowing to everyone? It is because of how the Madhyama Bhakta is shaped. Is that those who are averse, they are, it's like being on the other side of the Meru mountain, then they don't get the light of the sun, they only get shadow. It's too late. Or am I talking nonsense? Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hm?
Morgen fährt der Arthur schon weg.
Ja, ich bringe ihn weg.
Du bringst ihm was?
Ich bringe ihn zum Flughafen. Und ich komme aber erst am Mittwoch wieder. Ich gehe zu Narahari, Madhurya Kadambini, dann fahre ich noch nach Stuttgart und schaue mir Yoga-Studios an.
Namacharya Sinhare Thakur ki Jai, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Rasa Sri Guru Bhakta Navadip Dham ki Jai, Mayapur Dham ki Jai, Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gopini Govardhan Dosamakshi Brahmandayu ki Jai, Syama Kundo Radha Kundo Yamuna Ganga Tulasi Bhakti Devi ki Jai, Gopisha Mahadev ki Jai, Grindadev ki Jai, Namasi Ramaya Devi ki Jai, Jai Jagannath Balaram Subhadra Sudarshan Ji ki Jai, Shri Bhagavan ki Jai, Pranam Maharaj ki Jai, Anantapati Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Jai Gaur
somebody who's powerful is not willing to give up his power easily, right? Like somebody who's powerful, they don't like to share their power, to give it up. And Bhagavan voluntarily, he gives up his power. He gives his power to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like tattoo Prabhu.
Tattoo Prabhu.
You know what I realized? Huh? You know what I realized? Being God is easy. This supreme is very easy.
Oh, you realize that?
No, you don't know. Krishna was also complaining.
Yeah, of course he's complaining. It's joyful to complain.
No, like, can I, this?
No.